1 a.m.
So cheap, wouldn't it?
November the 3rd. This is our first monthly meeting after the 2018 fiscal year started in October 1. So this morning we're going to go through a few things, and we're going to call this meeting to order. If I could please have our Secretary Treasurer, please do a roll call, sir.
Yes, sir. William Nelson.
Here.
Susan Cothran. Here. Robert Tipicani. Here. Jonathan Polway. Here. Eddie Odyssey. Here. Ronald Red Elk.
Here.
Clyde Narkamy. Here. All present.
Okay, thank you. This morning we'd like to go on ahead and have an invocation done. Mr. Dennis Wamavoya, could you honor us with the prayer to our Maker this morning?
Gracious Heavenly Father, I thank you for this time we had to come to you in prayer. I thank you for the opportunity that you provided for us, Father, as a nation. And I just pray that you continue to watch over us and guide us as we move forward, Father, and trying to do the best that we can with what we have available. And Father, I just thank you for the leadership, and I thank you for what we've done and what we're going to do. I pray that you continue to bless us as the servants of yours in trying to accomplish your mission for the tribe. Father, I just ask that you continue to bless our elders and our people that are sick and in hospital. Father, I just ask a special blessing for them. And I just ask that you guide us in our decision-making process and give us the wisdom to make the best decision for the tribe and as we move forward and do the things that we can do, Father, with what we have. Again, Father, I thank you. In your Son, Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Before we go to the minutes of meeting last month, we had two young people in our nation, two young ladies. Miss Sophia Sawpitty Tiger. She was made the co-president of the National Congress of American Indians Youth Council. Also, Miss Angelina Steinmeier. She became the Junior Oklahoma Indian Princess of Oklahoma Federation of Indian Women. Let's give these two young ladies a very deserved hand clap. Mr. Tipicani, he's very instrumental in National Congress of American Indians, and he spent the last week up in Denver, Colorado. And I just asked Mr. Tipicani, do you mind giving us a synopsis of what went on there, sir?
Well, you know, this was an occasion that was very special to the National Congress of American Indians, especially those who were in the early establishment of the Congress, because this was a celebration of their 75th anniversary. And they began in Colorado. So it's nice to go back to Colorado and have that experience there. So there were occasions to honor some of those families and some of those individuals that are yet with us that were in the initiation of the National Congress of American Indians. And I think we should all compliment them, because these were leaders with foresight to say that we have to unite nationally and work nationally in the arenas that the best place to get things done. And so consequently, this Congress, you know, works with the United States Congress, and they take in the conference, tribes, even membership individuals can bring forward resolutions. And most of those resolutions are very, very strong. And they're things that need to be put forward to the Congress in behalf of Indian country and American Indian people. So that occurred. This year we had a number of grand resolutions. And we trust, you know, they go forward. We have to wait now for the new Congress to convene after January and bring some of them forward. On some things, as you know, right now there's some very critical things, like the Indian Child Welfare Act. You know, it's being contested nationally for a long time, but now it's being contested in the courts in Texas. And they're trying to say that we, as American Indian people, in our nations, in our governments, are racial groups, when really we're governments. We're sovereign governments, sovereign nations. So we stand on that platform. But this this court and others who want to take away our children and adopt them into their households are saying we are a racial group. So it's going to be a very big battle for a moment, we can see, because a lot of forces are lining up against the Indian Child Welfare Act. Because over time, if you've read anything about it, there's many families that want to adopt. It's like the Cherokee Nation situation not too long ago. They want to adopt and take Indian children. You know, at one time, this was done in mass ways. You know, many of the people in Utah took many Indian children from reservations and took them into their households. And I know changed their whole outlook on life. Some of them lost the sense that they're American Indian. So there's these things that we want to be sure our Indian children foster and have all their life, is that they are Indian, and that they have a culture, and that they have a government, and they have a history, and they are native to this country. So it's going to be a big battle. It's starting to line up now, this Indian Child Welfare Act, so you might follow it. Well, the Congress is an example now that will take it on. They unite all kinds of groups, individuals, attorneys, Congress, etc., to work on this. And it will be continue a fight for a moment. Now there's other things, you know, like the Massachusetts tribe in the East. You know, the Indian Act came about, you know, saying that in 1934, you know, certain ones were recognized as American Indian. And if you weren't after that point of time, there's a question of your status. So this tribe in the East, you know, was confronted with the fact that they weren't in that time frame. So there's a possibility they will not be recognized as they would want to be recognized, a federally recognized Indian nation. So that's another issue that stands, but that issue has a lot of consequences to it other than just that nation. And that's a complex thing. I can't explain it all to you. It'd take me a while. But it's very complex. So we have to look at things like that that are occurring. Well, the National Congress of American Indians went further. They've passed numerous, you know, there's an attempt by the Secretary of Interior to reorganize the Department of Interior. And of course, Indian nations have been against that aspect, which talks about the BIA or the Office of the Special Trustee and others that work with Indian countries, such as the BLM and the Natural Resource Division, which helps us in oil and gas and other kind of status of our circumstances. Well, anyway, that organization has always been challenged by Indian nations, and I think with further resolutions passed, you know, it just won't occur for Indian nations. So we'll probably maintain the status of the regional offices, the agencies, as they are. Now there can be yet some complication, and Western tribes of Oklahoma oppose the possibility of the change of the regional office. There's two regional offices in Oklahoma, Muskogee and Anadarko. And the tribes in the West, of course, want to keep this region, and those in the East want to keep their region. But the challenge that we see is the department may do away with one of them. Well, if they do away with one of them, we feel they should do away with Muskogee. And the reason being, a lot of those tribes over there, you know, are self-governance. They don't even need the region. They don't even need an agency. They work with Washington. So why do they have a region right now? So resolutions are posed from the Western side in the National Congress to, if that occurs, keep Anadarko. So I'm just using that as an example that affects us locally. but there's many things. The stature of that Congress is acknowledged by the Senate Committee on Indian Affairs in the Senate and in the Congress. Much testimony is usually given to that testimony, to that committee by National Congress of American Indians. I've even had the honor to represent the Congress and may give testimony to that committee. So that committee acknowledges the stature of the Congress. And if anything very controversial comes up, because they will come up against Indian country or Indian people, they will call on the Congress to come forward with testimony. And so that usually is the case, and that's a great benefit to us. The same thing, natural resources in the House and other committees in the House. So those two have an alignment with the National Congress of American Indians. And the Congress keeps close to that and sees what's going on all the time so that they can come forward to the moment of time when the House in committee may be acting on something or the Senate committee. So those two committees are powerful in the Congress, but so is the National Congress. And the thing that we try to work for is to have all the tribes in the country become members of that Congress, because the greater strength is in the greater numbers. And I might say I had the honor not only to be there when Sophia Tiger was brought in as the new co-head president of the Youth Council, which is outstanding. I think that's a remarkable achievement. She's a junior at the University of Oklahoma. She's been active in unity. She's been active in many, many things. And when these come forward, some of these young people, they are consequently, or I should say later, have the opportunity to represent their Indian nations and to be elected to the Congress. We have a young man that was in that youth council who's now on the board of directors of the National Congress. And he's just a young man, not even 30 at this moment. So he moved from that youth council into a government position in his tribe. He's from Arizona, and now he's sitting in that board. So great things can happen. These young people, you're going to be surprised how they are involved with Indian affairs and how they are involved with the future of Indian country. Some are just outstanding. They just amaze me. And so I compliment them and I support them. Well, Sophia Tiger, we should all be proud of her because she's an example of that kind of individual. When you see her and meet her, she's beautiful, but she's poised, she's articulate, she knows what's going on, and she wants to know more, and she wants to be an active participant in the future, I can see, in Indian affairs. So we need to compliment and support that kind of thing. This year, as an example, one of our fellow tribes here, the Kiowa Nation, they took, I believe it was 5 Indian youth to that youth council. They paid for it from the tribe for those young people to go to that council and have an experience in that council. Because in that council, they hear all kinds of amazing things. And many of these youth don't even know that. So it awakens them and it brightens their eyes to say, wow, I want to be involved here. I want to be part of this for the future of my Indian country and my tribe and my people. So that's a bright note I want to say. Well, I feel very honored to have been elected again to a position on the board, but it's not so much the honor to me, but yes, it's an honor to me, but the thing is, you have to be humble about these things because they're not you. It's the goodness of people that give you that honor to represent for a moment of time, because it's all that, just a moment of time, these matters that are important to Indian country. So I know this next year I'll be very active again with the Congress because they have mid-year meetings, we have annual calls every Monday, and we talk about the issues. So it's an ongoing. But excuse me if I'm talking too much, but I want to say to you all that support the National Congress. When it comes up, give support to that. And if you know Indian tribes that aren't part of that, encourage them to become a member of the National Congress. Because the National Congress, again, We have to confront continually our status as sovereign nations. We have to work on that it seems like every day, every month, and all the time, locally, nationally, and with the Congress. And we have to continue to educate people that we are sovereign nations and that we have, yes, limited sovereignty, but we have sovereignty. And that sovereignty we want to maintain. And we want to maintain the status that we have, some unique status that they can't take away from us, such as the Indian Child Welfare Act and what we do in protecting our young people and our children. You know, the real basis of that act is we want to keep our Indian children on the reservation, in the Indian community, in Indian country. We want them to grow up as Indian. We want them to know the culture. We want them to know their grandparents. We want them to know you. And we want them to be a future for our nations. So that's why we fight hard on keeping this status of the Indian Child Welfare Act. And it really hurts those who have been adopted in the past. They've lost their culture. They've moved away, and they don't even know who they are, except that they are, I guess, American. Well, anyway, thank you, Chairman.
All right, thank you. Everybody, Robert Tippecanoe has some health issues, and he went to Mile High City on his own dime, went on his own car. I had Julia, our executive assistant, check on him continually because I was worried about him. But thank you, Mr. Tippecanoe. I appreciate you. I do. All righty, guys. You know, today it's the 3rd day of November. They've delegated, who are they? DC delegated that this is Native American Month, state of Oklahoma. This is Native American Month.
American Indian Month.
Okay. Are we prideful? Yes. Do we have each other? Yes. Do we come from people that had supreme sacrifices? Yeah. But there's a story. And while everybody's checking the minutes, I've got to convey this story. We give an award every year, higher education does, and it's called the Dorothy Sunrise Lorenzana Award. Who was she?
Hey, Dorothy Laurentino.
Laurentino. Did I say Lorenzana? Sorry, that's who it is. There's a story that's published in the Comanche County Courthouse. Listen to this story. And it says, the reason Cache Public Schools will not allow Dorothy and all other American Indian children in their schools prior to 1918 was she was infected with a dangerous and contagious disease, that she had been exposed and is being continually exposed to a dangerous and contagious disease. She is unsanitary. She associates with children and persons who are dangerous, contagious, and infectious. That she is unclean and filthy. And she constantly associates with children and persons who are unclean, unsanitary, and filthy. Dorothy Sunrise Laurentino is the only Native American inducted into the National Teachers Hall of Fame. Dorothy Sunrise Laurentino, Comanche citizen. She opened the doors to public school education for all American Indian students in the entire country of the United States. She made extraordinary contributions to education in Lawton. At the age of 6, Dorothy was denied that access to the Cache public school system. She and her parents made a 20-mile train ride to Lawton, Oklahoma, where her father sued the school district for refusing to admit Native American children to public schools in the state of Oklahoma. Laurentino's father won the lawsuit in 1918. And prior to that ruling, all Native American children were required by law to attend boarding schools of the BIA. Laurentino later graduated from Chilocco Indian Boarding School. She earned a bachelor's degree from Northeastern. Before retiring from Chemawa Indian Boarding School in Salem, Oregon, Laurentino taught special education for 34 years on reservations, Arizona, New Mexico, and later in the public school systems of Salem and Tillamook, Oregon. Following her retirement from teaching, Dorothy continued teaching by substituting at public schools in Comanche County, the same county that would not allow her to go to school, and taught the Comanche tribal language and hymns to community members all throughout Oklahoma and all throughout our 7-county jurisdiction. Miss Laurentina earned many awards throughout her teaching career, and in 1997, she became the first Oklahoman and Native American to be inducted into the National Teachers Hall of Fame. Other honors include the National Indian Education Association's Elder of the Year, Delta Kappa Gamma Society Lifetime Award, Outstanding Woman of Comanche County, and in 1996, the Comanche Nation Higher Education Program initiated the Dorothy Sunrise Laurentino Award to be presented annually to the Native American graduating senior who best exemplifies the qualities for which Laurentino stands. Why did I say this story this morning? We have abounding pride, but one thing we have not done is just continue to promote our youth. And Sophia, we gave you a hand clap. Angelina, we gave you a hand clap. Dr. Pee Wee Wardy is here to give us a presentation. There's so many great things that are going to happen in Comanche country. But with that said, everybody, this is Native American Month. Please put that story in your heart. Youth that are watching, parents that are watching, put that story in your heart. Emulate this non-numina, our relative that had to go through so much. Thank you for that. All right. Everybody, you did look over your minutes. Could I please have somebody entertain a motion to approve the minutes of October?
I have a statement. On the last meeting we had here, remember, Jonathan Powell made a motion. It was seconded. Willie wouldn't call for the vote. So him and his uncle, he said, come on, let's leave. So they left. So that left the rest of us, well, what we're going to do? Well, Willie said, see what you can do if you don't have a quorum. We didn't have a quorum. So we said, well, you might as well leave too. So we left. Remember, we're all sworn oath to be here, represent the tribe, be an example, and lead by example, and live by the quorum, whether you like it or not. So the CBC, you can see the trouble we've been having, and makes it complicated. We spend more time on the trouble than what we're trying to accomplish. But we'll get there. But I just want you to know, we didn't leave. He left first and broke the quorum. So we didn't have a quorum, we couldn't conduct any business. So we don't have a quorum, so we left. If he's not going to recognize the CBC or the resolution or anyone speaking on the CBC or you people, I think everybody has a right to speak. And as a committeeman, we got a right to make motions and we got a right to vote on them. That's what we're elected for. So I just want everybody to know we didn't leave. He left first and broke the quorum. So I just want to make that statement clear because it seemed like, you hear all kinds of stories, but I wanted to clarify that.
Just when I thought we was going to have positivity today. All right. Is Cornell Pee Wee Wardy here? Is Miss Phyllis Narcombe here? Is Tax Commission Gene Pica? Hey, Gene. Let's see. And Realty Dennis Omavoya? And is Mr. Greg Willie here? Okay. All right. Could I please have somebody entertain a motion to approve the minutes of October?
I make the motion.
Motion made by the Secretary Treasurer. Need a second? Before we get a second, yes, Mr. Ramos.
Here we go.
I'm at a loss for words right now. You are our tribal leaders, and we can't even get a motion on the minutes or a second. And we just had a speech about our young people, and this is what you want to show our young people and our tribal membership. And we have leaders up here that choose to continue to fight among each other and not have an election and move forward. If anything, I plead upon you, 7 leaders, call for a general council and let the people decide. Because evidently, we're split here, and you 7 leaders aren't making any decision to move this tribe forward. We're stuck. If anything, make a motion to complete the vice chair position. It is not tied up in any court legalities. And let's get moving forward. This is November. Mr. Tippecanoe just talked about the National Congress of American Indians moving forward with resolutions, and we cannot even move forward with an election or move forward to do business within our own tribe. How are we to show our young people that we're a sovereign nation among ourselves, and let's move forward? Let's quit this. This is, I'm at a loss. Come on. Let's move forward.
I agree with you, sir. You know, Article 6 in our Constitution says we have duties. And there's one sentence in there on the duties that says we qualify candidates and run an election. And that's it. It's just a one sentence. And that hasn't happened. So, thank you, sir. Thank you. Can somebody entertain a second? Or we'll just continue on with the October meeting, or? I'm trying to close out. What happened?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I will second, but before I do, I want to make a statement. I did not leave the October meeting. I second that.
Okay. All those in favor to approve the minutes of October, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I guess we need to go to a voice vote on just the minutes. Mr. Secretary Treasurer, could you please go to a voice vote on the minutes of October?
Okay. I'll exclude you.
Yes?
Susan Cothran?
I abstained because I wasn't here for that meeting.
Thank you.
So I wasn't able to
Thank you.
participate.
Robert Tippecanoe? Yes. Jonathan Poe?
Yes.
Eddie Odyssey?
Okay, just a minute, I'm reading to see if it part's in here. Okay, I approve the minutes.
You're okay?
Yeah.
Ronald Red Elk?
Yes.
Clyde Narcome?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they passed.
Okay. All right. We're going to go to resolution number 156. It's enrollment list 1108. Before we go to this, Miss Amber?
May I make
Sure.
a comment?
Sure.
I hate to do this, but it's the last moment.
Go
It
ahead.
always disrupts matters, but I'd like to amend the agenda to include a resolution.
Yeah, these right here, they have to be in executive session
Yes,
to talk about, then come out and vote on it
yes,
in 3 motions of action, right?
Yes.
Okay.
plus a new one,
Oh, okay.
which would be removing the CEO gaming from the bank accounts.
Okay,
Need to do that quickly.
okay. So we got 4 motions of action for gaming, 1 resolution of resolve for gaming to be talked, discussed, confidence, then come out and vote, correct?
Yes,
Mr. Tippecanoe, this is what we talked about earlier?
yes,
Okay.
So, that's your motion, sir?
yes.
Okay, can I get a second, please?
I second.
Clyde, okay? All those in favor to do this action, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, well, thank you, sir. So, for the record, you got all that. Thank you. All right. Resolution number 156-18. Oh, Amber, everything good? Okay. Looks like we have 9 members, okay? This list includes the names of applicants who have been verified as eligible pursuant to Article 3, Section 1C, and that is membership of our Comanche Constitution. Every one of these applicants are descendants of allottees eligible for membership under the provision of Section 1A of the article, having 1/8 or more degree of Comanche Indian blood. Now therefore be it resolved that the Comanche Business Committee accept the verification of eligibility for the applicants. Be it further resolved that the Comanche Nation Enrollment Office notify the eligible applicant by letter of their approved membership, and further that the enrolled member be provided information concerning their enrollment, including name, date of birth, roll number, social security number, and degree of Comanche blood. Business Committee, we have these 9 members to put in. Could I please have someone entertain a motion to approve resolution number 156-18?
I make a motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made by Clyde, need a second?
My second.
Seconded by the Secretary Treasurer. All those in favor to adopt these new members into our tribes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. And I'll go ahead with these new members. I will read their names. We have Ramona Foy, Desmond Garcia, Maximus Kleinkohl, Hazel Miller, Baker Nevarez, Kyla Pataconi, Christopher Plumley Jr., Abigail Spence, and Tobias Youngblood. We got one from Indiana, and the rest are from Oklahoma. Let's please induct these new members. All right. Moving on to list number 1109. The documentary, that is resolution number 157-18, ma'am, okay? The documentary evidence on file with the Comanche Nation Enrollment Office and information furnished by each applicant named on this list, number 1109, does not possess the required 1/8 degree of Comanche blood. Each applicant named on the attached list is determined to be ineligible for membership with the Comanche Nation because he or she does not meet the provisions of Article 3, Section 3C of our Comanche Nation Constitution. Be it further resolved that each applicant on list number 1109 be officially notified of their rejection for membership, stating the reason for such determination and including the appropriate appeals provision. Looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and they are classified as 1/16. I do need someone to entertain a motion to this question on resolution number 157-18.
I make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made, need a second to continue.
I'll second that.
Okay. Ms. Cawthorn? Okay,
Second it.
all right. All those in favor to adopt resolution number 157-18, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. And the last one here is resolution number 158-18. The documentary evidence on file with the Comanche Nation Enrollment Office and other tribal records verified that each applicant named on list number 1110 is an enrolled member of another tribe. Because he or she does not meet the provisions of Article 3, Section 3B of our Comanche Nation Constitution, this person is at the time of the adoption of this Constitution an enrolled member of another tribe, or has in the past received and accepted, or if a minor whose parents or legal guardian has received and accepted for said minor material or monetary benefits as a member of another tribe. Now therefore be it resolved that each applicant named on the attached list number 1110 is determined to be ineligible for membership by the guidelines of our Comanche Nation law, the Constitution. Be it further resolved that each application on list number 1110 be officially notified of the rejection for membership, stating that reason for such determination and including the appropriate provisions. And we have one person, and they are enrolled in the Choctaw Nation. Resolution number 158-18 needs a motion for continuance.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made by Mr. Clyde Narcombe. You need a second?
I second.
Seconded by Mr. Odyssey. All those in favor to adopt resolution number 158-18, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay. We do have Adrian Tejano here. He is our transportation director. Adrian, what can you tell us about this property or this road?
I have three that would like to add to the long-range plan
Okay,
for future development, future parking, things such as that. The first one's 7133, it's route number, and is the tax commission building.
okay.
Parking areas, parking lot. If you've been around behind that building, you can see what I'm talking about.
Boy, that's bad. What did all those ruts back there, Adrian?
Sir?
What did all the big, huge ruts back there, the trash guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was a wrong asphalt and it's so heavy it just
Right. The
caused.
parking lot was built with curbing around it. When the waters got up, it had no place to go.
Okay,
We're gonna redesign the parking lot to have drainage.
very good, all right.
And the other one is the 6872, that is the education center. I was approached by the tribal administrator to add some parking there. And we'd like to add some parking on the east end of the property. Some of these things take time because the city changes their codes so often.
Right.
And right now, the Elder Center has been put kind of back a little bit because of city coding, city restrictions. We have Mr. Wumba helping us with the city on this part.
Okay,
We plan to go forward with that as soon as we possibly can. And the 7146 is route south of Monument Curve. If anybody's familiar with that area, it's kind of a shortcut down at Arco from this part of the counties. You know, the first 3 miles north of the Caddo County line has been redone. It's a beautiful road. We would like to take the other 3 miles from the Apache Highway up to Monument Corner and make that a lot better, smoother and safer mode of travel for everyone down here that goes up to the BIA for business.
they do that. That is
Yes,
true.
quite often.
Is that the one we call Indian shortcut?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Okay, and Route 0431.
Yeah, that's the road from Mears, everybody knows where Mears is, back to Highway 58. You know, 3 or 4 years back, we did from Porter Hill to Highway 58. We had a lot of compliments, especially from the schools and the postal service in the areas. And we'd like to continue that from 58 out to Mears. Of course, with the help of Comanche County District 3, they will do all of the work out there. We are only going to pay for the material. And this improvement's going to be for everybody. I believe everybody will enjoy it.
Sure. Yeah, all 4 of these. Wow. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you so much. All right. This is resolution number 159-18. The Comanche Constitution, Article 6, Section 7, established the CBC as official body designated to conduct this business for and on behalf of the nation. Whereas the Comanche Nation Department of Transportation wishes to add these routes to the long-range plan, route number 7133, route number 6872, and route number 7146, then add route 0431 to the Transportation Improvement Plan, which they call TIP. And now therefore be it resolved, the Comanche Business Committee hereby approves the BIA Branch of Transportation and Southern Plains Regional Office, SPRO, to add the above routes to the nation's Department of Transportation Improvement Plan, TIP.
Sir,
Yes.
before y'all do that, I know this is out of line, and I didn't know that this is going on with the road improvement stuff. Where our homes are in that Cogatine cluster, they have told us for years and years that they would put better road in there for our homes. We have been flooded out, we've had the road gutted out many times during the flooding over the years that I've been there. I've been there almost 30 years now, and they still have not. The man before them, the K19, told me that we were on the list to come get our road done. This was about 5 years ago. And he said it was on their board of thing. He showed me this plan, and I have not heard anything else about it. And you know, our road is terrible through there. We've got 5 beautiful. Okay, our homes are supposedly $55,000 homes in that area. There's 5 homes through there that have never had any kind of work done on those roads. Every now and then the road grader comes through there, but that's not really doing a good job for the area. And you know, they've made improvements on all these other roads around us, but our little group of homes there are in a terrible shape, the roads there.
Hey, Adrian, on this Comanche cluster site, are you aware of that?
No, I don't know where it
The
is.
Cogatine cluster site over on the, where the, you know, y'all did that improvement in front of those homes coming on County Line Road up to our
Right,
corner.
right.
And y'all stopped right there, and y'all went north on our corner. Y'all stopped right there where our road ends. It turns north. And that road is terrible. It's been that way and I've complained about it for years. Why can we not have something done, even if it's just in front of our homes? School buses come through there and, you know.
Yeah, but it sounds like Adrian's not familiar with that.
Yes,
Hopefully-
I am.
Oh, you are?
I'm familiar with that,
Okay,
yes.
Okay.
2 years ago, we had hauled rock in there for that. We're getting
Big
the
chunks.
base built up.
Okay,
We hauled 1.5 inch crusher run on that,
okay.
and the county's spread all that rock for us. And we're building the base up, the traffic is helping.
Okay.
And that was our intention, to go from where we left off on the county line to the Apache Highway.
Okay.
There's a lot of concern on that road because of the housing conditions she's talking about. Most of the people in their front yards have big cottonwood trees that are so big around they have to be removed. And a lot of the people were complaining about the stakes, which are in the county right of way, center of the road, they were over in a lot of the front yards. And they complained about that. Well, they're not gonna come in here and take all this, are they? Well, it's the county statutory right of way.
TA, is there any way to sidebar with Ms. Gooselin and Adrian on this matter, or so we could go and finish this? Or- Okay, all right.
Actually, those big trees weren't even there when those houses were
Okay.
built. They've just grown up since then.
All right.
Adrian, who's the commissioner for that district?
Randy McElmore, District 3, Caddo County.
Have you touched base with him on this road or anything?
Yes, we have.
Okay. Are they willing to help?
Yes, ma'am, they are.
There you go.
Okay, after this resolution, hopefully Jimmy, I don't know, he can visit with Jimmy and Adrian and have, I don't know.
Yes,
bring
sir,
it forward. Okay, sure.
We just,
All right.
where we left off with it.
Okay, all right.
Appreciate that.
All right, ma'am.
I'm sorry I interrupted.
You're fine, you're fine, all right. Well, let's go back to therefore be it resolved. We're going to authorize the submission of the intergovernmental agreement for design and construction of said projects. So, Business Committee, resolution number 15918 is before us. I do need someone to entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made to move it forward. I need a second.
I second
Seconded by Mr. Odyssey. All those in favor of resolution number 159-18, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right.
it. I have a question for transportation, if you don't mind.
Yes.
I'm from the Cache area, and some of those roads you fix, I really appreciate that. And a lot of us from Cache appreciate that. Did the mayor or anybody from Cache ever thank us for doing that? Has the county ever thanked us for doing that?
Yes, they have.
Okay, good. I just wondered. Now, my next question is,
Yeah.
some of those roads getting potholes in them. You know, we got trash trucks that go through there. And you know, that's the only truck I see that's heavy. Who's responsible for repair?
The city maintains that.
Okay. If they don't maintain it, can we contact them and address this issue to them?
Yes.
You think you could do that?
Yes, I will.
Okay, 'cause there's about 3, 4, 5 potholes people have been telling me about.
Okay,
You know, maybe you could go out there and look at them yourself. I don't know.
I will.
Yeah.
We'll bring that to the city council, the city mayor, and then, but the county does a lot of their patchwork and their maintenance.
Okay,
They'll
good.
have to get a county assistance, but I'm sure we can get it done.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Jerry,
Yes.
while we're talking about roads, I'd like to say,
Good.
you know where I live.
Yes, I do.
You know where I live. Susan knows where I live. I've been trying to get them to fix our road. We've got a one-lane road going to the lake. And it ain't worth a flip.
It's called Cherry Road, right?
Cherry Road.
Cherry Road.
We got 4 Indian homes on that road. And I've been trying to get these guys to fix that road. I don't think Adrian ever drove out there to look at it. And we're fixing roads for everybody else, but we can't fix a road on 4 Indian homes.
Is it pretty bad?
Well, you've been down that road.
Well,
It's
actually,
bad. It's a one-lane road.
I usually don't look at the road. I look straight ahead.
You have to if you go in the damn ditch.
Is there anything on Cherry Road that keeps us from working that, Adrian?
Sir, that is a county road,
Okay.
and when way we do those roads, I don't go out and pick you, this is this one, or this one, or that one.
Yeah.
The counties call us and ask for assistance in building these roads. Then we get on our maps and look at our maps and see if there's any tribal lands along the roadway or at the end of the roadway. Then we can make a decision with the county then.
Okay.
I just don't go out and pick the roads if we do.
Sound like another sidebar, Mr. TA?
So the county has to initiate it?
Yes, they ask us if we can help them with these roads. We don't do it if there's no properties alongside it or access to an allotment of tribal property.
Yeah, I
Send
believe,
them all the way to the lake.
who's the county commissioner for your,
Gail Turner.
Gail Turner? Mr. Buddy Walkway going towards Duncan, who's the county commissioner that way?
Gail Turner.
Same one.
I tell you what, there's, they're running for office, right?
Well, I talked to Gail Turner about Buddy's Road. They're trying to say that a bus don't go through there, but a school bus goes through there every day.
I seen that school bus stuck in the mud there,
And
so,
that half a mile of that road is gravel. And
right.
he's been trying, I talked to Gail Turner myself. He said, I'll go out there and look at it. I said, you better do something. This is election year, boy.
I think what Mr. Odyssey mentioned, that should come up where we pinpoint, some really derogatory roads, and we come with the site plan and, we've heard 3 things so far, so we need to be proactive on that part. To give you an answer today, Mr. Pokowatch, can supernate.
So
So,
what, that's what.
come on, the TA, and,
Unfortunately, we don't have the funding to do every road in
I get it,
every road
sir.
that comes up.
I understand. But I think if we start doing this priority list, I think that should have been done way back and just snow picking and choosing. What's your thoughts here, Mr. Naito? You're looking at me like Duck Dynasty. They're kind of hard to, it's hard to grab.
It's hard to, because you want to fix everybody's road, of course. But whenever you only got $1 to do $5 worth of work, it makes it real hard. And in order to keep us neutral, Comanche Nation neutral, and not show favoritism toward tribal members, we allow the county to come to us.
That's the answer I'm looking for.
You know, I mean, because if we go and say, we did these roads because of this reason, another member's gonna know about that and they, well, I got the same reason. We leave it up to the counties to approach us and ask us for help.
Okay.
And then we check our maps, it's on there.
Okay, sir. All right.
I like your word about derogatory road.
That's derogatory roads.
I don't understand that one, but
Well, when you when you hit one of those potholes, you say a derogatory statement, so. All right.
I think it's kind of a sad situation, though, that some Comanches get left out just because you're waiting on the county to, I mean, there's 4 houses down there. This Coosawoon there's a whole cluster over there, and we can't fix that for them. They are tribal members. I just don't see pushing them aside so you won't show favoritism. I don't see where it would be favoritism.
Well, maybe favoritism was a bad choice of words. Maybe I don't know what words I should use here, but not
Yeah,
favoritism.
I know what you mean,
Yeah.
though, as far as there could be political interests or political favors done for people, and have one person living on a road and fix their whole road just because there's one person, fix their whole driveway maybe, I don't know. But for a group of homes, 4 homes, that's a lot of Comanches that live there.
I mean, we could probably all get together and figure out a new system, but the way the system is now, it keeps us from looking like, okay, the only reason we're doing that road is because of this reason. So now we put it into the county's hands of, can you help us with this road? Kind of, I mean, I don't know if I got the right words.
No, you
coming
do,
out.
because SPRO, Southern Plains Regional Office, and the actual tip, how it's defined, it tells you what you gotta do, and you guys have been following that. You guys have been following that, so, moving forward. All righty.
I have a question for
we haven't
enrollment.
approved that.
Remember about a month or 2 ago, we directed you to find somebody to do our audit on enrollment, and you said you were gonna try to get some things for us? How are we standing on that?
Right, still searching. I have a couple of quotes, but not, it's kind of the same ones that I already dealt with in the past. I recontacted them. Excuse me. I'm still kind of reaching out, trying to figure out who all can help. I've contacted the Bureau several times, but they told me they don't have the manpower to do that. And they referred me to Michelle Lovin, I believe it was. And they've kind of just mentioned the same people that I've already contacted. So I'm just going in circles, not really finding additional people, if that makes sense. Everyone I talk to, they give me the same exact names that I've already contacted. And I'm kind of just stuck. I don't know who else to reach out to assist.
All right, we got a point of order. We're dealing with this road project here. I need to know, Secretary Treasurer, we did take the vote on that. Let me get back up here. Did we take the vote on?
The law was 18.
Okay, we did take that?
We voted on 18.
Okay, so that is done. Now, moving forward with this agenda, I do have Miss Tachawika here. How you doing, Miss Tachawika? I never could say your other name. I could never say your other name. But what they got before us is resolution number 16018.
Mr. Nelson,
Yes?
hang on, she doesn't have this last transit
I have
160.
5918 was the last
Yeah,
one
so we
voted
need to
on.
vote on 160.
Well, we haven't even brought it forward yet. We have not brought it forward.
Oh, I thought that's what we were talking about.
No,
All right.
That's why this young lady, Ms. Tachawika, is standing up. If you look in your book, Comanche Nation Transit, what they have done, Rebecca is, and the team has provided a full asset management plan. If you pulled in here to our complex, you would have seen all of our vehicles parked. And what they have done, they've done a performance measure. They've also done good repair SGR policy, how to achieve their goals within transit. They actually even have the guys that are driving, the actual staff, their asset inventory. They have a condition assessment, investment priority. I like that part. That's really good.
Yes.
All right.
Really awesome thing to help us prioritize
Sure.
our investments and what our needs are.
I'll let you continue with that because this is a good right. We've never had it, and it's a policy and it's a guideline. And you know, when you have a guideline, you actually have a start and a finish line. So go right ahead, ma'am.
Really, truly does. The Transit Asset Management Plan has been enforced by the Federal Transit Administration.
Okay.
So we had to come in and formulate these plans to better understand what our assets are and how we need to prioritize them when it's time for repair or replacement, and also define the program. We want to provide a safe and reliable transportation for our passengers and for our employees, the dispatchers, the drivers, everybody involved. We want to make sure we have a safe working environment and safe transportation for every individual who rides with us. And this is going to define that. It's going to help us understand our fleet and how it's doing as a whole, and make sure we're staying on top of preventative maintenance when we need to look at replacement. Now, this plan is going to fluctuate over time.
Sure.
Every 4 years, it needs to be revamped.
Sure.
But in the meantime, as our needs change, so will the plan. So it's really great that we have that flexibility, and we will have, again, an end goal, and hopefully this will be great to maintain the future of Comanche Nation Transit.
Well, Rebecca, I didn't know you worked for the tribe.
Yeah.
This is really, really good stuff.
I've been in transit for 5 years. I started as a dispatcher, went to a driver, I moved up to data analyst, and now I'm the safety coordinator.
Lovely. Guys, this is something we've never seen before. This is a good TA. This is good. So here it is. Ladies, thank you. Thank you for standing up. Okay. This is resolution number 160-18. Article
Did the TA
6.
see this? Did you see this? Okay.
Do what now?
I just asked if the TA saw it and everything.
Of course, that's why it's here.
Yeah, well,
All
I just wanted to
right.
make sure. I want that to slip through here.
Article 6.
You're okay with Jimmy?
Well, actually, that's what Rebecca was hired to do, is to create this plan.
Sounds like we're the business committee conducting business, so let's do it. Article 6, Section 7 establishes the CBC as a duly elected official body designated to conduct business. Whereas the Comanche Nation Transit Department has designed and is ready to set in motion the Transit Asset Management Plan. TAMP, T-A-M-P, I like that acronym. There is a plan which is in accordance with the Federal Transit Administration guidelines and was created to help transit programs identify when assets need maintenance or replacement. It is also helpful for safety risk management, keeping up with state of good repair, outlines job functions of staff, fleet management, and overall plan for ensuring a safe and reasonable timeline for the transit program's future. That's great. Whereas the Comanche Nation Business Committee has determined that it is in the best interest of the nation to implement the Transit Asset Management Plan. Now therefore be it resolved that the Comanche Nation Business Committee hereby adopts and authorizes the submission of the Transit Asset Management Plan. I would really hope there was another word in there, which I ain't gonna say until someone smarter can do something better, but anyway, it's there. Resolution number 160-18 is before us. I do need a motion to continue.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Mr. Clyde, need a second, please?
I second it.
Seconded by Mr. Poway. All those in favor of resolution number 160-18, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All righty. Hi, how you doing there, Miss Narcomi?
Can you say what the acronym stands for again?
TAMP, let's see here. It is Transit Asset Management Plan.
It was well done, I have to say.
Yeah,
Well done.
very, very good.
Thank you.
All right, we got a tribal court resolution expressly authorizing the maintenance and carryover of court fees, costs, and fines. Who wants to explain this to the audience? And to state your name.
I'm Jared Ellis, the court administrator.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Go
Of
ahead.
course. This resolution is to formalize an accounting practice that rolls over the court's account, which is essentially money collected by the court. And this is in the intention of the previous resolutions that established the court account. However, it's been getting wiped out at the end of every fiscal year and put into the general fund, even though the resolutions say that this money should only be used for court purposes. I have a memo to explain it all if y'all would like it.
Eddie, we had an informal meeting on Thursday. Eddie brought forward a question that I didn't have an answer for. Monies that come in, Eddie, like we were talking about all these different monies coming in.
That's what it's talking about here.
Okay, so in this one here, we're saying a bank account does this?
Sorry, say that again?
A bank account does this, and what are you asking us to do?
No, we have a bank account that we deposit the fines, costs, and fees that get paid to the tribal court. But our accounting firm, Finley Cook, at the end of each fiscal year, they withdraw that amount and put it into the general account pending the CBC's approval for the rollover to the next fiscal year. This would just make that process automatic.
It moves it to a separate account.
Believe this Finley Cook does, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already held in a separate account from the general account.
But I mean, at the end of that year, it's moved.
Yeah, they take it out of the account so it's no longer accessible.
I see one sentence in here, it is the intent and good business practice to keep the money collected by the court separate from Comanche Nation gaming money. So,
Or any other money.
what are we doing now, convoluting the money?
No, it's separated automatically. They have it operating, but see, they get grants, they get all of that grant funding. So this also goes back to when someone pays a bond, isn't this the same account? for the bonds?
No, we have separate accounts for bonds and trusts that is not money due to the tribe or the courts. That's held for other parties, either pending a ruling or just as the court acting as a third party in between. But we have a third account for the operating of the court. That is separate currently from the gaming money. And as it was created in Resolution 31-11, we changed the name of it in Resolution 7811.
All right, I'll go ahead and read this resolution. 161-18 pursuant to Article 6, Section 7J, to promulgate and enforce ordinances and codes governing law and order to protect the peace, health, safety, general welfare on land determined to be within Comanche tribal jurisdiction. Comanche Business Committee through Resolutions 3111, 7818, 13917, and Comanche Nation Tribal Codes Title I, Section 4.01B, has authorized the tribal court to maintain a separate bank account to deposit money collected from court fees, costs, and fines to be used for court purposes at the discretion of the court. And it is the intent and good business practice to keep the money collected by the court separate from the Comanche Nation gaming money. Now therefore be it resolved that the CBC does hereby authorize the monies collected by the court for fines, fees, and costs and held in the Comanche Nation Tribal Court account to be maintained separately from Comanche Nation gaming funds. And be it further resolved that the Comanche Business Committee does hereby authorize the remainder of the money in the Comanche Nation Tribal Court account at the end of each fiscal year to automatically be carried over to the next fiscal year, and that this shall reoccur every year until expressly modified by the CBC by resolution. And be it finally resolved that the CBC, acting for and on behalf of the Comanche Nation, does hereby certify this resolution for such intent. So that's the skinny of it.
So what you're asking basically is just keep your own money.
Right.
And keep your own money in your own account and let it roll over each year.
Yeah,
That sounds good.
yes, it is.
Yeah, that
It's
sounds a
good.
good idea.
For these kinds of monies.
Yeah.
They're distinct monies.
Need someone to move on a motion?
I make the motion.
Motion made by Tippecanoe. Need
I
a
second
second? Need a second?
I second.
Second by Odyssey. All those in favor of resolution number 161-18, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Move over to resolution number 162-18. Comanche Nation Constitution directs the CBC to be bound by the Comanche Nation purpose in all lawful matters within the Comanche Nation Constitution as it's written. The Comanche Nation Constitution, Article 5, Section 7, subject to the approval of the Secretary of the Interior or his authorized representative, where applicable, the authority of the Comanche Tribal Council shall include and be exclusive with respect to the following. D, to authorize the expenditure of funds which may be deposited to the exclusive credit to the Comanche Nation, and of funds which may be deposited to the joint credit of the Kiowa, Comanche, and Apache tribes. And whereas KCAI-LUC, which is Kiowa, Comanche, Apache Indian Land Use Committee, that's a long acronym. Bylaws, Article 4, Section 4. Each tribe shall appoint 3 representatives to the KCAI-LUC to sit for a term as determined by the respective tribal business committees in accordance with their respective tribal constitutions. And therefore be it resolved today, the Comanche Nation Business Committee appoints Business Committee member Ronald Red Elk to serve as 1 year of 3 KCAI-LUC representatives for the Comanche Nation. This appointment will serve a period of time that is in conjunction with his elected period. Business Committee Resolution number 162-18 is before you. I need a motion to continue. Today, we're outgunned. Kiowa's got 3, Apache's got 3. We need 3. We only got 2. Need a motion?
You know, I want to make this comment. It has been, I know, like a tradition, but it's been an action of the nation and of the body, the Land Use Committee, that there be the chair, the vice chair, and another representative from the elected officials. So I think it's smart to have a continuance of the chair and the vice chair. And I know the vice chair is standing, but consequently I'd say Mr. Red Elk could be appointed until a new vice chair is in place.
Apaches don't run that format. They got the chair, vice, and then a rep. They don't have a secretary treasurer.
Now, I understand that, but I mean, we have as a nation, Comanche Nation has been chair, vice chair. I just want to bring the point out. Now, that's a thought. I'm just saying,
Well, until
Big-
then, we're outgunned. We need a
Well, I
rep.
think, why don't we just table this until the election? And that way she'll just go right in. Whoever
There's,
wins
there's
the
voting
election.
matters that are
She
at
or he or
KCA,
whatever.
and we only have 2 votes.
Why don't we just wait till the election, just table this and wait till the election
Why don't we have an election?
and put the vice chair?
Well, it's before us.
Because we put someone in there now, then we're gonna have to change it again later according to typical.
Resolution number
Explanation.
oh, that's so easy, we just do it like this. So, resolution number 162-18 is before us. I need a motion to continue on this.
Nah.
Nah, it's not recognized here. I think we need in our own parliamentary rules a time limitation, I guess. I don't know. Somebody take time.
Somebody asked the question, when are we going to have an election? Why are we waiting on? What's keeping us from having an election?
I don't know what
For
the,
vice chair.
I don't know what the appeal is for. I mean, we had 2 court orders. I don't know. I don't understand.
It's only like in your approval to move forward with the vice chair. It's not tied up in court.
Say that again?
I said there's no reason why a vice chair election is being stalled. There's nothing tied up in the court with the vice chair election.
They both have degrees.
They both have degrees. They don't, all of you been certified. I don't know why they're so hard about moving forward with an election for a vice chair. If the court's not going to give an answer, why do we keep on funding the court? I mean, what's the holdup?
Well, they gave them 2 orders. Okay, we got this
Let's have a
before.
general-
Let's deal with KCA, what's on the table right now.
Ah,
Well, that ties into it because you can't do anything with KCA.
Sure we can. The Apache tribe have their chairman, the vice, and one of their elected leaders, just like we have here.
We always had chair and vice chair and.
Now, back, Mr. Wallace Coffey appointed Mr. Billy Shoemate and other people that weren't even elected to serve on KCA. So I could name all the people that's been appointed over there, and they weren't CVC at all. At one time, we were running all of KCA with gaming money. That's out of order. That's so out of order. But anyway, that's water under the bridge, I guess.
We don't want to go back, we just want to.
Yes, we do, man. I agree.
We want something good happening here.
Just me and Tip.
It's time.
By the bylaws, Ms. Cawthorn has missed 3 meetings, so by the bylaws, she's not a rep no more. So we need a rep. It's so simple, guys. We need to make a change. It just really comes to when we get this election over with, we get a change. It's that easy. I don't even know why you brought that up, Tippecanoe. That's contentious.
Well, I don't
That's
mean to be,
contentious.
I don't mean to be
You
contentious.
serve on that committee, and you know I'm the chair of this KCA committee, and we only have 2 people there. That is just not correct. I'm looking for a representative. We can't have hate at this table. We got to conduct business. Can somebody please entertain a motion so we can have 3 representatives at the KCA meetings? We do conduct business, good business, by the way.
Mr. Chairman,
Sure.
I might bring forth an idea. I think the problem is not so much the position held on the CBC as the position held as nephew and uncle. So why don't you bring forward one of the other names and see if we can get a second on
Well,
that
my
motion.
constitution doesn't call for nephew and uncle. It calls for siblings, calls for married people. It calls for your daughter, your son.
Yeah,
There's
that's,
nothing in our constitution about if you're my uncle.
we're not talking about the
Law?
nepotism.
We're not talking about the law?
We're talking, yeah, we're not talking about the nepotism law. What we're talking about is how these members feel about our relationship. So
Somebody bring forward another name.
we're not
here.
going to get a second on this.
All
That's
right.
the point that I'm making.
I'm not going to leave this motion until we can actually amend this motion for somebody to be a representative.
Well, Clyde Narcomi was on it before, and you removed him. Why not reappoint him?
We removed him because we had the format of 1, 2, 3. Right?
Well, you just said that the others are doing it to just put anybody on there. So he was on there before, and you removed him. So I think he should be put back on there.
Well, Clyde, we need a vote. We need a vote on things
I make a
here.
motion to put Clyde Narcomi back on.
No, there's a resolution here. Amend the
Well, you
resolution.
can amend your resolution to put his name in there.
Okay, all right. And name that motion again.
I make a motion to amend Resolution 16218 with Clyde Narcomi's name and for him to be reinstated back on KCA.
Do you want that, Mr. Nycarmen? Clyde?
I thought you and Secretary Treasurer and Vice Chairman was on that board. Who's on the board now?
Just me and him.
Oh, Susie's not there no more.
Well, she got
No.
removed at the last meeting because she had missed 3 meetings.
Oh, okay, so I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can take it until the election.
That what?
Maybe you can take it until the election.
When's the
Yeah.
election, Eddie?
Yeah, I'll take it till the election.
All right.
Okay, motion has been made then. He'll take it? You'll take it?
Yes.
Okay.
All
Until
right.
the election, right?
All right, I need a second for that motion.
Mr. Chairman, I second that motion.
Okay, Mr. Red Oak has seconded it, and I appreciate you, sir, for being professional enough to move business forward. All right, all those in favor for resolution number 162-18 with this amendment to include Clyde Narcomi, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right, Clyde, we're meeting Wednesday.
Got it down here. See the calendar right here.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Okay, we're going to, what is needed over there at the Education Center, Mr. TA?
We're replacing all the old windows and putting new windows in. So since they moved all those programs there, we're kind of finishing the last of it. Transportation's, added that, we just passed that resolution for the parking lot. And all that's pretty much left is replacing all those old windows, putting new ones in, and then a roof, and then they should be just like brand new.
Very good. All right. Resolution number 163-18. The Comanche Business Committee is here to do business and for and on behalf of the Comanche Nation. Whereas the Comanche Nation Education Center, located at 1608 Southwest 9th, will have new commercial windows installed. The new windows will upgrade the building by providing a better energy efficient rating to the building. The windows will adhere to IBC, which is International Building Code 2012 edition. Now therefore be it resolved, the CBC authorizes the use of capital improvement funding and the Comanche Nation Education Center funding under current approved Comanche Nation tribal government property and procurement policy and procedures by the resolution number 022-16. Be it further resolved that the CBC approves the capital improvement funding 50% and the Comanche Nation Education Center funding 50% for the commercial window installation and authorizes the approval of the bid submitted to the Property and Procurement Department by Brady's Glass LLC in the amount of $116,088. That consists of a 1-year contractor's warranty. Business Committee, resolution number 163-18 is a question, and we need a motion to make it agreeable. Someone entertain a motion for resolution number 163-18.
I make a motion to pass 163-18.
Okay,
I second.
seconded by Mr. Tippecanoe. All those in agreement on resolution number 163-18, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. All right, we've got a resolution here called 164-18 for Comanche Nation Enterprises. Whereas the Comanche Constitution, Article 6, Section 7, establishes us today in our legal quorum to conduct business for and on behalf of the Comanche Nation. Whereas the Comanche Nation Enterprises, Inc. is owned by the Comanche Nation. Whereas the Comanche Nation Enterprises, Inc. wishes to apply for the Small Business Administration 8A BD program by application. Now therefore be it resolved that the Comanche Business Committee will hereby apply for the Small Business Administration 8A BD program for the Comanche Nation Enterprises, Inc. Is there anybody qualified there, which I know SBA standards, that can submit this 503 application?
The application is submitted by, this application to which this speaks, is submitted by the CBC. In behalf, because the CBC represents this ownership, which is owned by the tribal members.
Well, it does us no good by reading SBA guidelines, which I do know in and out.
I'm glad you know everything.
That we do this, and there's no one qualified to submit it.
You can submit it.
I can't. I'm not qualified. I can sign off for them to do it, but there's no one up there qualified.
When this is submitted, they will make that evaluation, the SBA.
Oh, I refuse to sign that. No. Make someone else sign it, because SBA standard says you gotta have someone qualified to do that. That has 3 years of qualification service
Well,
of
won't
doing
the
that.
SBA, if they submit that, if they don't find that that's in place, wouldn't they reject it then?
Yes, they'll reject it.
Yeah, so there
Okay,
you
good.
go.
All right, y'all wanna do that, waste some time. I would wish you would go ahead and make a motion to amend this, to have someone here sign it, maybe you.
Well,
Or the secretary,
the Constitution says the vice chair takes place as the chair.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to do it, then the vice chair can
yeah,
do
the
it.
vice chair can.
Sure, sounds good to me. I'm explaining the law, guys. I wish we had an SBA rep. Is there anybody, you are on this Comanche Nation Entertainment Board. Is there anybody qualified up there of 3 years that can submit this 8A application?
Can't hear you.
Well, gosh.
Turn that hearing aid up.
You said entertainment, it blew his mind.
I'm sorry, did I say entertainment?
Yes, you did.
I'm sorry, it's enterprises. I'm sorry, it's enterprises, if you can make that.
What's your question, Mr. Chairman?
Okay, they want to submit for a new 8A. Is there anybody up there, once we fill out this 502, 503 form, is there anybody up there qualified to submit for an 8A?
No, not right now. They fired the girl that was doing that.
Okay, so if you want this to continue, Mr. Secretary Treasurer, please put your name as the attested, please.
Ben,
I
what
will
about
on
that
the
girl that
resolution.
came in from
I'm not gonna
Arizona to
sign
help
this.
y'all?
Well, the
What about
vice
that
chair
girl
can
that came in
sign.
from
Okay, we'll make
Arizona
that
to help
I'll
y'all?
sign it.
Yes.
They asked us.
Is
I
she
make the
still there?
motion that the vice chair sign.
For the record,
Yeah.
for the record, and this meeting,
Never met her.
hold on, Mr. Pukawatchit, thank you for your answer.
I wasn't there.
Sir, thank you for your answer.
You're welcome.
For the record, that this group has said they have sent me this. I have not seen this form. I have not seen it. They keep saying they sent it to me. I have not seen it. So this is fabrication. I do not know of this form. I do not know of this form. You told me yesterday that the chair of this board has sent this to me. That is
Not the
perjury.
chair, the group has.
That has not been sent to
He's
me.
a new chair, but he says the group has sent it to you twice.
To where?
I can only take their word,
Well,
Mr.
I've
Chairman.
never seen it for the record. Please make a motion to put your name as a signature on this, sir.
Well, I already
It
made the
is.
motion for this vice chair to sign.
Okay, or her name. We'll make that motion.
Yes, it was made.
Okay, need a second for her name to be put on this?
I second it.
Okay? All those in favor of resolution number 164-18 with the signatory of the vice chair and attested by the secretary treasurer? All those in approval of that, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay.
Well, we got to try to help this business. You know, this has started a long time ago. We've been talking about it, discussing it. And if you look back at this program, we put about, what, $10, $11 million into this program, and we haven't got anything, Comanche people haven't got anything. But now we're hoping, we've got people up there now that's not these tribals that were running it before. We're trying to get it stabilized and trying to get it going. They need this aid here to get government contracts and whatever. And I feel we just need to help them one more time. One more time, you know, I think everybody should have a chance. Give this committee of Oklahoma City one more chance to use this here and try to make us some money. That's my take on it, you know.
Does anybody here understand what this Comanche Nation Enterprises is, what this charter is supposed to be? Does anybody here know what it is? Okay. All right, who's a Comanche member here? Raise your hand. Enrolled. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. You own it. You own it. It's that way it's written. You own it.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
I got a suggestion
Yeah, go ahead, Clyde.
on this,
I'm sorry.
this deal we just passed. If Mr. Tippecanoe would take this, resolution, once it's signed, take it to the contracted officer at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. That's where they approve all these all the contracts at Fort Sill. It goes to the contracting officer at Fort Sill. And where it's located at, Gene may know the building number. It's right across from the commissary. Seemed like it's 1602 or 1802. And they got contracting officers in there that handles these 8A problems.
We don't even know what this is for. Do you know?
Well, they can tell you if this is legal or not.
Clyde, have you been informed that their 8A that they had came to a graduation at September 24th of 2018? Have you been informed of that?
No, sir.
Okay, that's a 9-year graduating date. It was not recertified because they have not shown good promise in the last 5 years. It's not this group here. It's been a problem from way back.
Right.
So it's been a 9-year graduating period, sir, and they lost the only 8A they had. So now, yeah, sure, you can get another 8A, but if you don't have anybody qualified for submission, then it's a moot point.
Well, the deal is, it's gonna be denied.
Okay.
If they don't have anyone
All right.
there, at least we give these guys a chance.
Well, Eddie, I want to remind you. Well, no, I ain't even going to remind you. Last year, we had a different point of view. All righty,
Let's move on.
let's move on.
I have a question.
Yes,
Since you said what you said, the last chance, or one more chance, or whatever, so what have they done since they started to now, the group that you're talking about? Can you answer that?
Yeah, they got rid of those people,
The past people?
the past people.
Okay,
They got
from the
rid of
time they
some.
got in, what have they done for us? Can you answer that?
Well, when we put them in there, what we told them to do was have an audit to see where the money is and see how much money you have, to see where you can go from there. And the next thing we do was organize the organization. And then get everybody in their place and whatever. And then you can, and then you can see what you have, and then you can project to where you're gonna go. And that's where we're at right now.
Is this the group that you're talking about that time they were all here from Oklahoma City or somewhere, these guys?
Yeah. that
So
time-
wasn't Ben in that group?
Yeah.
So Ben's out now, so why is he out? He
You have to
stepped
ask
down
Ben.
or?
You have to ask Ben.
Okay, I will, but, so why we're gonna help them one more time out of 3 years,
Because we still have some contracts out there.
right?
And if we don't finalize them, we have to pay.
no, that's not true.
No?
Our charter does not say that. Whatever they've got themselves in, it's on them.
Okay.
That's what I mean, they have to pay.
Not
The
us.
corporation's talking to the
It's
corporation.
just our name is being dragged through the mud on many of these contractors. It's terrible.
I don't think we should help them again, if we already helped them.
Well, this resolution didn't have no money. Are you guys wanting to give them money too?
No.
Okay.
There's no money.
There's no
The money
money.
would come with the authorization of the They have this new body, Susan, I might say, has issued 2 new contracts. And they issued them under the terms of the expiring 8A.
It's expired.
So they got it in at the last minute on 2 contracts. And those 2 contracts are in Arizona, southern Arizona. So they have 2 that they were able to get at that time. Well, the body now, the board was appointed by the CBC, and the board is just like this board, split. So they split, so now the ones that are residing there, that are still there, are trying to get it all in order. Mr. Pica is their chair of their board, William Pica, and then they have a CEO, a Mr. Martinez. So they've also reduced salaries of a lot of people. They found out some people are being paid, weren't doing anything. So they reduced the salaries by over $100,000. So that's been wiped off and gotten rid of.
Okay, let's move forward. All right, it was voted on. Here we go. Let's go to resolution number 165-18. Whereas Article 6, Section 7 establishes the CBC as a duly elected official body designated to conduct business. Resolution number 155-18 was approved by the CBC on a regular scheduled monthly meeting on Saturday, October 6, 2018. And whereas it is the responsibility of the CBC to protect the interests of enrolled minors in their trust accounts. Now therefore be it resolved that resolution number 155-18 is rescinded to uphold the protection and responsibility by the CBC of minors in their trust accounts. What this is involving is very confidential. We do not remove people from the rolls. Not for a stepmom, not for a mom, unless they themselves at 18 make that decision. That's the way it's written. That's the rule. So, it's before us. I need a motion to continue.
I make the motion.
Motion made. Need a second.
I second.
All those in favor on this rescinding, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Resolution number 165-18 has been passed.
Enrollment, did you already instruct those people on what the last month's decision was?
They have not gotten their removal yet. Thank God.
Okay.
All right.
So we're still at the same place?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you understand why we're doing this?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly.
Well, Mr. Willie, are you here? We're going to new and old business. Mr. Willie? Boy, did he leave?
Mr. Chairman, before we take care of him, I would like to say something. I guess I like rejection. So every time we've had a meeting since June, I've brought forth this motion. So again, I'm going to bring forth a motion to have the 2018 election finalized by having a runoff on November the 10th, 2018, or November the 17th, 2018, for Comanche chairman, vice chairman, tribal administrator, tribal lawyer. The business committee vows to the supreme governing body that this runoff will be final with no exceptions. And I'm looking for a second on that motion.
y'all supposed to work together. Y'all supposed to be working for us. How come y'all can't get a date? I mean, you know, a date, like we just asked. You know, like, do y'all disagree? Is it a bad day for y'all? Is it a bad timing? Or what is the excuse? All of you. What
We
is y'all
have-
excuse?
We have a duty, Miss Susan Parker,
Okay.
Whitewell.
Okay,
We have a duty. We are to qualify candidates and have an election.
right.
And that duty has not been done. It has not been done.
And the reason it hasn't been done?
It's in the
Well, first
court.
off, they said what? Well, you qualified them, but no, they're not qualified enough. So they're changing what was already in midstream. That's ex post facto. You can't do things like that. No one does that. But it happened. So it wound up in court,
Right,
okay? Judge ruled to have an election.
right.
That got appealed. That got appealed. Then the judge ruled that everybody should be in this election,
Right,
and that got appealed.
right.
We had an appellate hearing on October the 4th, and it's going on exactly 1 month come tomorrow. No answer from the court on the appeal.
Has anybody looked into it, you guys?
They won't let me, they won't let any candidate,
Richard, what's the status on this?
but then again, he's a candidate. I don't know.
I know, that's the whole technical election, really, technically, those two sitting over there shouldn't even be sitting there because they're candidates.
You have a tribal administrator that sits on the court team that's selected, helps select the appellate court. And
Well-
he's the candidate.
To answer your question, ma'am, we are waiting for the court, but you know what? To stop all the finances that's been blowing on this, the dissension, the division, somebody ought to second this, and let's just have our election. Because guess what? The tribal council is the supreme governing body. Our only part is qualified candidates have an election. Now let the supreme governing body have their election. Somebody second it and we vote on it. Heck with the court. This is what rules.
Yeah,
The
but
people
how
rule.
come you don't second it? You know right from wrong. All of you really technically know, but how come you guys don't second it?
I don't know what the
Y'all
the appeal's asking for qualifications to be put in a new election, and this thing's gone on for 6 months now.
Right.
This is the worst that's ever happened in our
Right.
nation. The worst. The worst.
Right.
And I think it's agenda-led, but that's my own opinion. There's a lot of hate and a lot of agenda to it.
There's nothing holding back the vice chair election, Mr. Tippett.
You know, I don't want to fight. We've had a good meeting so far. People have their own personal definitions here.
Got money.
But they're banking on what you brought to the general council, ma'am. You brought it to the general council, and it said that people needed an education. Now, who promoted that? Who promoted that? Okay, then it's an agenda then.
6% increase in
But
per
if
capita.
I did bring that, but it still has not went to secretarial election. It's not in the Constitution.
Yes, we were-
What part do you guys not comprehend?
Yes.
That you have to have a secretarial election.
You gotta
on this
change the
issue.
Constitution.
And y'all haven't done it, but y'all wanna pursue it.
Right.
You can't pursue it.
We're qualified under the Constitution, but we're disqualified for,
And if I knew what
Something
I
that
knew, I
needs to
wouldn't
change
have
the
did what I did,
Constitution.
Odyssey.
Don't blame me.
Yes, it was.
You don't even like me. How you try bringing me into it?
all right, Mr. Willie, if you're not here, oh, you're here. Okay. Mr. Red Elk, I think we timed out on what's been asked for the last 6 months. I guess we're not going to have an election. We should have an election.
Can we
It's our
call-
duty
can we call
to
for a
have an
general
election.
Council. We don't-
Okay, I'm chairing the meeting, got to stay impartial. So, Mr. Red Elk, are you satisfied with the abstinence of a second?
I expected it.
Okay. Mr. Willie, please, sir, tell us why you're here and what are we doing here?
Okay. Chief of Michigan. Thank you. Chairman, committee, my name is Greg Woodley. I'm the independent benefit specialist. And I've been helping different tribes since the BIA and the IHS are starting to burden the different tribes with their burials. I have a proposal here that I've worked with the Alabama Quashada out of Livingston, Texas, and they were able to purchase small burial insurance, where in turn, after a quarter, they were able, the escrow was able to pay for the premiums for the tribe.
Mr. Willie, explain escrow to this group in the audience.
Okay, escrow is it's a fund or a slot where money goes into it and it rotates out. Okay, for example, like in real estate, when you purchase something and you get a profit, that escrow's got to go out and go back out. So what the escrow does with this burial policy, and this is the example that I have here, and it's based on just one policy or one death per week. And depending on the size of the tribe, you know, it's just for illustration. Okay, so we took one death a week for a quarter, which is basically, I don't want to say something and be wrong. Let's say in 1 month you have 4 deaths, and the tribe purchases a $20,000 insurance for a burial insurance. Where we know that when a family, it takes a husband and wife, everything they got just to make ends meet. So when a death occurs, that's a sudden expense that a lot of us are not fully have the resources to accommodate. So we had to get a loan, or and with a lot of the tribes, they go to the tribe for help. I'm Mississippi Choctaw, and everybody goes to the Choctaw Nation for it. And the Choctaw Nation supplies $2,500 in addition to the BIA, Indigenous Fund. And to qualify for that, they have to be indigenous. Okay, and the funeral homes are now getting to the point where it's not profitable. They're starting to turn away our people down in southeast Oklahoma. They have 7 different funeral homes, and they try to alternate it so they don't take a loss. In fact, if one funeral home has more than 3 funerals in 1 month, they're at a loss and they have a hard time keeping it open. So I was approached with a tribe to see if there was a way that we could work it out where the $20,000 can be split with a surviving family for the burial, because we know we had the funeral services and then we had the burial service, which is opening, closing of the grave. That it's in addition to the services. So what we came up with, and I worked closely with that, and I'm working with the citizens of Potawatomi. Also, we work very close in getting it to where it's manageable for the small tribes as well as the big tribe, because the initial outlay will be the only burden, but after a quarter, depending on the number of deaths, you're splitting the $20,000. $10,000 goes into an escrow account with the tribe, so that it can turn around and pay for future members that that don't qualify for insurance. And then the other half goes to the family or the funeral home to pay for the services and all. And we've gone through here, and I'll have this here that y'all can look at. After 1 quarter, the insurance that came in is $144,000 that came into the tribe. And what went out was $53,000, $268,000 for the policies. But then again, we had it left over in the escrow after the funerals are paid for, after the policies come out of their own escrow there. You have a $90,732, which you can apply to the next member, you know, for the elders. Because the example that I showed here, and it goes in, and I have it summarized by age, from 18 years old to 68 years old. okay? And it's on a 10-year term. That way, we're able to carry the load, as a tribe, we're able to carry the load for those that couldn't qualify, had pre-existing conditions, insulin diabetics, so.
Mr. Willie, I want to help you out on this. Dennis is going to provide us with something in our executive session. He's our realty man. But it was really interesting, and I think our tribal people need to know this on our funeral services. I was shocked. I was really shocked. Our total services in 2016 was 134. Our total services in 2017 was 146. 2018 is 125. I want to thank Carmelita and staff down there for giving me this, and TA helping me out. But if you look, the percentage of Comanches guys, it was only 40%. So non-tribal, tribal, whomever, was 60%. 50% and 50% was 2017. It was 50-50. I was really shocked. I always thought it was just our people, but it's not. 2018, 53% was Comanche and 47% was non-Comanche. So what you're looking at, just more or less, I like what you put here, sir. I'm just kind of helping you out. If you take 2017 and we had 73 actual Comanches, and I looked at your escrow and you're spot on the funeral amounts, we would literally carry over, not only you got 32,000, I can see 8,000 carried over 73 times. Who's got a calculator? 73 times 8,000. Anybody? 73 times 8,000.
Just round it off.
What you got, Julia?
584,000.
All right, and guess what? We vote for how much on burial assistance? I can see this being beneficial. Because escrow does carry. Escrow does carry. If we go over a 10-year period on our averages, and I'm sitting there going, well, how did that happen? We had 134, but then again, it's not that. We got other people, we wouldn't have to buy insurances for the others. So the escrow pays for itself year after year.
Yeah.
How's that working for the Alabamas?
It's working real good. They were in the red with the local funeral homes, and they were real sketchy on providing services. And since they're right at 3/4 now, and they have an exuberant amount that carries over because they've had more deaths a month. It has carried over, and they keep an eye on it. And every month they go over the books, they bring it out so everybody can see, so the membership can kind of keep track as well. And it allows for as well as senior citizens, it always allows for the younger ones too. They go by way of cancer, who has no age limit, diabetes and stuff like this. So it enabled them to provide. And the reason why we went with 20,000 is because that's the figure that they wanted to go with. So that 10,000 went to the deceased member and the family. And provided they made arrangements because they had that real money coming in, that they got it set up with the funeral homes at $8,000, which provided not only the services, but it also provided a monument,
The
headstone. And so they were able to provide that for each member as they passed away.
And as you can see, we only provided in 2016 61 headstones, 54 headstones, and 66 because that was the non-tribal that probably didn't want that. So of course the tribal members, yeah. But anyway, it's just a good grief. All right. Mr. Willie.
Provisions are made for it. So.
Mr. Willie, I'm glad you brought this forward. On the AFLAC question, I talked to the TA. We've got something already in the works for our employees here. But this is very, very interesting. Could you come back and meet us again?
Yes.
Okay, because, this has to go to the tribal council too. because they do vote for a pretty astronomical sound money for burial assistance, and we never want to come short.
Right.
But if it saves people money and, you know, we can carry escrow over, it's a great idea.
Maybe we could have him use our estimate numbers from last year
Sure,
and work or see how it would work if we went and had it last year.
sure.
Could you do that? Use our numbers that we have here, he's talking about with the Comanche, and use those numbers and incorporate it to your program and see what it would be last year for us to do this.
If you had added.
If we had, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then next time we meet,
I'll email
we
you.
could be real, we could be talking real numbers.
Right.
Well, Mr. Willie, when you came and visited me, I just, you know, there's so many salespeople come up here, right? But when you told me about the tribes that had used it, they were in the red, and how your tribe, how now it's, you know, it's really a pretty good deal.
Well, when I was, see, you know, I just graduated from the Leadership Natives of Oklahoma, and that's where I met you at when we were
Right.
here in Lawrence. And I've had several tribes had asked me about how does AFLAC work? Could we figure out a way to work with the tribe? And so I called headquarters, and I called lawyers and everything, and they said it's no different than naming the Cancer Society.
I get
You
it.
know, so I said, oh, okay, well, and then that was a go. So everything is legal on it, so, and then, of course, y'all have a burial assistance program set up, so they would overlook the escrow as it goes through, so you've got everything already set up for it to just fall right into place.
Jimmy, I want you to look at these numbers. This is your book now. But we're going to visit with you in the future.
Because he's.
Ms. Mansky, can you make sure Jimmy gets that?
Yes.
All right. But I do appreciate your time, sir. We don't act on the impulse to do things just like that.
Understand.
All right.
And they didn't either.
Okay, all right. I thank you. All right.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because it's not, you know, obviously.
Any other questions out in the audience about Mr. Willie's presentation?
Jack,
No, but thank you for coming and sharing because it sounds like it might be a good idea for us.
It really does, and, you know, with IHS, funds are going down and they're crunching the numbers on the tribes. The burial services they're getting more stricter on their assistance.
The BIA?
Yeah.
Burial assistance? Or because you said IHS, do they help with burial assistance?
No. But as far as the medical and stuff, IHS is kind of.
We don't have money at IHS.
But the BIA, you know, they're getting more strict on their guidelines, and back there, they're really trying to push being able to prove that they're injured for that.
Well, Mr. Willie, I do appreciate it. Anybody on the CBC have any more? And I will do Eddie's suggestion, get you the numbers so you can fix them, you know, give them, let us look at them. You know, we're going into our new 2020 fiscal year. So 2019, so we're already working on budgetary items for 2020. So, all right. Thank you, Mr. Willie.
You said come back when?
I don't know, group, y'all want him back after we do this running of numbers? You'll have to visit with Jimmy. He is the administrator of all the programs. But running the numbers is our job, so what do you think? A couple months?
Next
Yeah,
month.
I think we need to look at the budget and then,
Couple months?
yeah.
Probably in an ice storm from Durant.
Nice.
December?
Because they have hearings.
The first Saturday in December.
Okay, I'll put it down.
Mr. Willie, thank you for your time. I appreciate your drive here, sir. I think it might be a good idea. All right, we got Cornell, you're going to be first in executive session. Phyllis, you're going to be second. Gene, you're going to be third. And what? Why? Because you're going to the game? No, Gene. I don't know. Can somebody concede your position? You want to concede your? Okay. Gene Cornell conceded his position.
Nelson, is it too late to get on the agenda for the executive session? I called the other day, but I was too late. But I didn't need to wait till next. If it's fine, it's fine, if I can't get in. It's about my granddaughter, so that's, if not, then I can come next month, if that'll be better.
So we have to make an amendment?
Is it a serious matter?
No, I wouldn't say that.
It's that true.
I'll say let her speak. It ain't gonna, we're already here. The game's not till 8 o'clock anyway.
What about me? I've been trying to.
Well, make that motion.
Well, that can be the last one, that's fine.
Make the motion, Eddie.
Make a motion, Odyssey, so I can get on.
Well, will you like me better if I make a motion? They put the khaki in?
Stay there.
Are we gonna be friends then?
No negotiation.
Are we gonna be friends then?
Business, we're doing business.
Mr. Chairman, I would get on there.
All right. So Dennis, it looks like you're gonna be last.
I thought I was.
Well, he's gonna make a motion for us to amend that part.
Hey, I've been trying to get to see y'all for 2 weeks. No one's answering the phone. I've left you messages and you haven't called me back.
Well, it comes to your question on the court, right?
For me?
Question of the court, correct?
Question me.
That's a confidential matter.
But executive session? When y'all are all together, I want to talk to all of y'all. I don't want to just talk to you.
I know.
Because it takes all of y'all to make a decision about anything, so every time I talk to y'all, there's 2 or 3 missing.
Well, the fiscal year you had spoke of about tribal court, okay?
Not the tribal court, the children's court.
Okay, that fiscal year did
My
end.
position in it.
That fiscal year did end. It's over.
I still want to talk to the people. I still want to talk to y'all, and I think that you're
You guys,
wrong when you say
there's
stuff
2 people that want to come in executive session.
when y'all
Does
are all together.
anybody here want to bring a motion forward to hear these 2 tribal members in executive session?
I know I had to wait
I'll make that
last
motion.
month.
Motion made. Need a second?
I second.
All those in favor to add these 2 Comanche Gakus into executive session, please signify by saying aye.
Thank you. Era.
So let's get on.
Well, there's only 2 ayes.
Oh, still.
Go ahead, make a voice vote there, buddy.
Susan Gotham?
I'm going to abstain because we do have an agenda and other people have been turned down too. We cut it off. And if we do this now, you're going to be doing it all the time. I'm sorry, ladies, but that's the truth.
That's okay.
So that's I'm abstaining. I vote no.
That sounds like a no. All
That's a
right.
no.
That's
Take
a
it
no.
for what it's worth.
That's all right.
Yes. Clyde Narcomy?
Yes.
Ronald Redout?
Yes.
Eddie Odyssey?
Yes.
4, okay, pass. All right, good enough. Cornell, you conceded. We're gonna throw Mr. Jean. Did you have something to say, sir?
Yes, I do. I'd like to give you this handout, kind of a summary of what we're going to be talking about for the charter school, but also I have the page that comes to the county courthouse from Dorothy Lordino, just in case people are not familiar with the court case in Cache, Oklahoma in 1918. So I have a copy of it just for anybody in the audience that would like to see the deciding factors, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Cornell. All right, we're gonna take a short break. We're gonna take a short break, maybe 10, 15 minutes, and we're gonna call Jean. Mean Jean, you're first up, and everybody else in order. Phyllis, you're second.
Yeah. I'll stay second.
Uh,
I'm not giving up either.
No, Cornell's second, you're third.
I got it, not ask me to concede.
She didn't concede. He conceded.